Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 9 of Columbus Local Podcast. This evening we have Imber Solis, and she's brought some friends with her today. We're also live streaming on Instagram, which is courtesy of the crew here. But say hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Thanks for having us.
And who have you brought with you today?
I have my co-writer, Scott Lee.
Scott, how are you?
Great.
And my best friend since before birth, Jerica, Archie.
And Jerica, how are you involved with the project, with the music project?
I do some filming behind the scenes, but mostly I'm just like a crazy super fan stalker.
A crazy super fan stalker.
She brought me along though.
I call her my social media manager when we're in professional settings.
That's cool.
Yes, she's being very humble. She does a lot with social media.
Yeah. And Scott, what's your role with Imber Solis?
I'm her co-writer, and she writes the lyrics, and I write the music for the most part. We dabble in each other's business on that, but mostly those are our strengths. And then I also play the keyboard for her.
Awesome. And Imber, what are you performing in your band?
I am the lead vocalist and front woman.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And how long has this been together?
Like 2.5 years.
2.5. So right before COVID or during COVID?
Like during COVID, 2021. About February, I was throwing a online fundraiser for a local pet shelter. And I asked Scott if he would please record some piano for me for, Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And he said, not only will I do that, but also, would you like to write music together? And I was like, yeah. So that was how the project was born. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Awesome. And so how many records have you guys produced to date? I know there's some out there on social media platforms.
Mm-hmm. And I think we have 7 songs total. We have a Christmas CD with 4. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And you guys are in progress of creating a new album, correct? Currently?
Yes, it's called The Looking Glass, and our first release is going to be like the first week of July, I think.
Oh, wow.
So
that's coming.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah, good timing with this conversation too. Hopefully, I would be interested to know who's actually helping you guys produce that album.
Yeah, his name is Finestro. He's in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I actually met him on social media. I kind of stalked him for a while. I was like, this guy's really good, and he's got a lot of credentials and things that are like above where he should be. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna blow up like any second. And I think I snuck in there right at the right time. Snuck into those DMs. And I'm like, hey, do you want to work together? And he took his time getting back to me too. Like he was checking us out. And I think what we finally landed on was that we both have the values that we want to spread to the world. And it's not just music to make music and music to make money. It's music to put out a good message and have good values and things
for
like
sure.
that, so.
Yeah, that's always it's always a good thing to finding the right musicians, but then finding the right people to work with. And when you find that, it's a gift. It's good stuff.
and it seems like he had the right, certainly the talent and certainly the vision that tied in with ours, and he just felt like the third leg of the stool that we were looking for to bring that stability and bring the piece that was missing and put it in place, and we've been really thrilled with him.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. So that's coming up, and that's really exciting. You're also really involved in live shows in the Columbus area, right? Are you outside of the Columbus area with your live shows?
We're getting there. I keep trying to push some shows. We have one coming up in Cleveland, and then most exciting, I think, is we're going to play at the Hard Rock Cafe in Myrtle Beach
Wow.
I know.
Early August, yes.
That's like hitting the big time, man.
It totally
It's
is.
fun.
I about,
Good
I
for
about died
you.
when I opened that email. I was like, what?
So when is that show?
August 9th.
Okay, so that's coming up too.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you guys you're booking all over.
All over.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we
that's
have
great.
like two different kinds of shows, basically. We have like our duo set, which is more like jazzy, and we do some musical theater type stuff. And then we have like the full band, which is where we're just like rocking. So
Oh, fantastic. Yep. I actually bought a excuse me, I bought a ticket last week? You guys played at
Natalie's.
Natalie's,
Yeah.
and I got tied up with my day job work, and I missed the show. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, man, by the time I get there, I think you guys were wrapping up. So I was very disappointed. I mean, I was really actually looking forward to it, and but I'm going to catch another one. Maybe I'll go to South Carolina when you guys hit, because
Perfect.
I do have family there, so
So do I. That would be awesome.
oh, for sure.
But thank you for supporting us.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're all around.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yeah, so
We're at ComFest coming up. We were at Marysville last week. So a lot of booking. We're all around.
and where can we find where you list your shows?
They're all listed on my website. I try really hard to keep up to date. It's www.imbersolis.com, and then you can do /performances, and that'll take you to the list of performances.
Oh, that's cool. Yep. So that and that's convenient because everybody's always out there surfing, looking around. I'll personally, stay in touch with those platforms.
Thank you.
So, recording is a completely different animal as opposed to live performance. Do you have a process that you follow that you find that you're, kind of naturally utilizing when you create your music?
In the studio or
In the studio.
in the studio? So it takes a few times.
Yeah.
Like I got to get out of my head because it's so different when you're like isolated and you can hear every little thing that your voice is doing. And I'm such a perfectionist anyway. Like it's hard for me to kind of unplug and go for remember the emotion of the song and why I'm doing it versus like just having a perfect song, product. So a lot of that is like getting a few reps out and getting into that zone where I'm like just having fun and not thinking so hard about what exactly I'm doing.
So are you writing like in the studio while you're creating? You have that part done.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I try to get stuff memorized. If I'm reading off of something, I'm not in my body, which is where I need to be. I have to be in my body when I record.
But sometimes we write harmonies as we go, and we'll add them a part at a time and see what it leads us to. And so we have an adventure with harmonies. And see where it goes.
The choir of Embers.
Oh yeah, that sounds. It sounds like you guys are friends, and that again, I think is a gift when you're able to find someone to collaborate with and create with. So you're really fortunate.
Yes.
A lot of us are out there still searching around, and, but it's an evolution. And how long, Imber, have you been involved in music? What was your first memory of music?
My first solo and my first music memory, really. My first solo was third grade. I was the little grandma in the gingerbread play.
The little grandma. Really.
Little grandma.
Wow.
That's got to be the most wild story you guys have. Right? The
About
little
as crazy
grandma.
as I get. No, and then my dad has played piano his entire life, so I grew up listening to that. A lot of Beethoven and Mozart and ragtime, things like that. So I just always grew up around music. And eventually, like, my dad would play the piano and I would sing, and we'd do a lot of Broadway and stuff like that. So, yeah, my whole life.
I've gotten to know her dad pretty well, and when I visit there, as soon as he sits at the piano, she runs right behind, and she's there. It's like automatic. She's singing, and it's just a great thing. Their combination.
So you're always singing all day, every day.
Oh God, yeah. My poor husband. He's like, stop! I just wanted to be quiet for 2 minutes.
Imber is married.
Imber is married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Almost. Oh my God, 12 years. I
Oh,
think.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Or
great.
11. We just did 10, so almost 11 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Hey, Scott, you're gonna get a little closer to the mic because I think you're not as high in the mix.
Okay.
It's all good.
All right, thank you.
We want to hear you.
Ah,
So from third grade, then you get bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then where'd you go in high school? Did you start with bands then, or when did that come about for you?
So my best friend at the time, Jericho wasn't there at that time. She was in. She moved. We won't talk about that. No, I think it's her fault. No, my one of my best friends learned to play guitar, and so I am very competitive, and I taught myself how to play guitar. So that was mostly it. It was songwriting with guitar that I did myself, and I would play at some coffee shops and stuff like that in high school. But I did a lot of I did all the musical theater.
Oh wow! Now theater is a little different, right?
Not as different as you would think, to be honest.
We do musicals. They were all musicals. So you're singing your heart out, having a lot of fun.
I just played Maria in The Sound of Music last summer in Delaware.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was literally a dream come true. I was so depressed when it was over.
she was fabulous. Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm familiar. I'm not involved in theater, but Beth is she's a managing director at one of the local theater companies.
Oh, really?
So she
Which
helps
one?
produce Pace.
Oh,
Oh, neat.
they didn't come to the Unified auditions.
Yeah, they're casting now. Might want to check it out. We'll have
Really?
to talk with her later. I think there might be
think I
some
will.
chorus spots open maybe
Yes.
at this point.
Okay.
I think the main characters are cast, but maybe you could fit it in.
With my busy schedule. I'm in a musical right now. It's called Doodah Parade, the musical. It's with Musical Land Theater. It's very silly.
And this is current for you?
Yeah, it's going on July 30th, or June 30th and July 1st.
Yep.
Down in the
So that's coming
short
up
north.
too. Where do you make time for all these things?
I don't know.
I really don't think it's so planned as much as she just does everything every day to the fullest and never wastes a second. And then when she is dead tired, she falls asleep, and then she wakes up the next day and does the same thing. I'm not sure it's so carefully choreographed or planned as much as she's just a
happens.
bundle of energy.
I feel guilty when I take time to rest, which I know is not healthy, but that's just kind of how I'm wired. I don't know. But the other thing is, like, it's so much fun. Like, even the marketing and building the website and the designs. Like, I love Canva. I'm so addicted to Canva. I enjoy it. And like hours can pass, and I've made all these like promo things and videos, and I don't know, when we're practicing or recording, it's just time flies. It's not work when you feel like this.
Good
Yeah,
for
and
you.
in some ways it feels like she's just everywhere and it's not organized. And then in other ways, I feel like at every minute she's thinking, what's the best thing I can do with this minute? Because she's getting so much done in a day.
I do try to stay organized. I make lists of, what needs to be happening right now to get the next thing done. And for example, I am also the founder of ResiFest, which is
I
you're
wanted to
familiar
talk
with.
about that. Yeah. So on top of all these things we just talked about, you have this coming up, right? And what is this again?
So it's called ResiFest, and it's for resilience within the community, and it focuses on mental health. And we're doing 2 stages worth of music. We have vendors, artists, food trucks. We have a kid zone, and we have not a resilience space, restoration space, where we're going to have like yoga teachers and maybe some massage chairs and just a place to go like zen out for a minute. So I'm really excited about it. But then the most important thing is we're going to have a whole shelter full of mental health resources that people can come and find what they need, hopefully, and within the community.
That's such a wonderful cause, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, when you and I first started to talk about doing a podcast, you had asked me to, excuse me, consider being a sponsor, and I'm pleased to be a sponsor of this ResiFest, and I think that it's going to be a fabulous event, and I wish you a lot of luck, you know, and pulling together. I'll help as much as I can. You know,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Continue to do so. But that's exciting, and that's coming up on September 16th, right, 2023. And lots of music, lots of food, and but it's going to bring the awareness of mental health and community supporting. So hopefully those listening will do that in Plain City. What's the name of the park that it's going to be?
It's called Pastime Park.
Okay, right in Plain City, Ohio. So, and I'm planning to be there too, and interviewing some of the bands that come off the stage, give them an opportunity to talk about their backgrounds, talk about what's going on with them, and that'll be a good exposure for everyone involved.
Yeah. One of the things I put in my questionnaire for people that want to apply to be a musician, I'm like, why is this festival important to you? And if they're like, I just want to play in front of new people, I'm like, it's not good enough. Like, I want people that are in this for a reason, you know, they feel strongly about mental health and why it's important in their life. So
yeah, and if it's, you can say, you know, this is getting too personal, but I was just curious, maybe some of the inspirational points to bring you to produce this festival.
Yeah. 10 years ago, my best friend that I talked about that was playing guitar, and then I decided to pick up guitar. She lost her life due to bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
So she completed suicide, and it was absolutely devastating. It still seems like I'm talking about somebody else sometimes, like it's weird, but, you know, after that, I actually dedicated my first album to her and did like a silent auction and raised, it was like $1,100 or $1,200 for, North Central Mental Health here in Columbus. And, it just lit a fire in my heart, and I struggle with depression myself. Like I had an eating disorder for 7 years, and I don't want anybody to have to feel the way that I felt or that my friend felt. She told me at one point, she looked me dead in the eye, and this was after she had been hospitalized. She was like, I don't have a soul anymore. It's gone. I'm a monster. And it was just so wild. She just said it so matter-of-factly, and she was such a beautiful spirit, you know? So if we can, like, we need help in this country with healthcare anyway, but we definitely need a lot of help in mental health resources, and we need to make it accessible to everybody. And we need to take away the stigma of it as well. I'm on 2 different types of medication for my depression, and I still, like, you know, it's a balancing act. It takes work, but it's worth doing. And those days when I feel really good about life and I'm being productive and my relationships are good and thriving, those are the days that I'm like, I'm on the right track here. So when I have the bad days, at least I can remember that, you know, something good is happening and I have something to work towards.
Well, I'm sorry about your friend, but I'm also inspired by your passion, you know, for the topic and for the awareness. And I think that, you know, ResiFest is something that is going to speak to everyone, to your point, in bringing that awareness to the forefront and turning that into positive energy, with lots of positive experiences, not only there that day that's coming, but, you know, to take that, you know, forward, your music, is an outlet, obviously, that helps generate, happy pop, vintage, soul-filled music that everyone can enjoy. So,
And I'd also like to say that I think it's very topical and very relevant right now that polls that have come out have expressed that it's that mental health issues are a top priority, and they are a real problem with the younger generation, and so we really want to help make that change, make that pivot, and make people feel stronger and more confident, and feel like they're part of a community that supports them.
Yeah, I think that's such a big thing. Like, that's such a key point there, Scott, that a lot of the problem comes from when you feel like you don't belong.
Yes.
And you don't have hope for what's like people loving you. Basically, you just feel hopeless, right? So if we can be a part of something that creates a community of acceptance and love and
Encouragement.
and hope, yeah, like that's what I want to do. I want everybody to feel like they have a place in this world.
because we do.
Because
Yes.
we do.
Yes, we do. It all fits together.
Well, that's an awesome message.
Thank you.
So with we talked a little bit about your recordings that are coming up, but let's talk a little bit about your live performances. What's driving you to get to the stage?
I don't know if I can put that into words. I'm just a bit of a ham, I suppose.
She's sanguine for sure.
I love it. I just love it. I get energized. So I've done a couple like try to do like live feeds and stuff like that with just me and the camera, and it's just so hard to get into that. I am such an energy person. Like, I need the audience and I need that feedback, and we're just giving back and forth to each other. I'm going to tell you a funny story. Jericho, I don't think I've told you
I'm
this.
nervous. You're looking at me.
I know. I'm trying to think if this was the same
need a
night.
drink.
Yeah. So I'm not an avid weed smoker, eater, any of that, really. Just because the few times I've done it, it's been not super pleasant. But there was one time, I think this was after you went home that night. You came over. It was like I took one hit and I was like, Pshoom! But after
Giggles. Just giggles.
all the giggles, after she left, I watched a stand-up comedian, and it was like I understood energy, and I saw, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, the comedian is a yellow and the audience is an orange, and they're exchanging colors. Like, that's the thing that they do. It's like an agreement. It was like so clear in my mind, but I can't drop that. I'm like, the audience is really important when you're performing. Like, I don't know. It's an exchange. I love it. It's addicting.
That's amazing that you use
It is
colors, but
addicting.
it does seem like there is a flow of energy, that there's a current or something.
Yeah,
that there's
current.
a wavelength, there's something that happens that's beyond sight. And it's interesting to express it in colors. That's a way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely is something like that. You can feel it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen the videos, and I really, again, I will see a live show,
Yeah.
or two, or three, or four.
Good.
But I do think that the audience is part of the show, definitely. And if you're lucky enough, to feel the performance,
Yes.
then I think that's where it's really at.
Yes. Yes.
And with your original material, that makes that much more special. So,
Oh my gosh. So my song Country Air, it's really catching on in Delaware, like, because it's about Delaware, where I grew up. But it was awesome at Natalie's. We had like a whole table like singing along and like doing motions and stuff. I was like, this is amazing. I know the words to my song. It was crazy.
I can only imagine. Yeah, good for you.
Thanks.
I mean, we write things to be effective to listen to, and we write it to be effective, and she's effective to watch. But when you go further and you actually feel, and that exchange goes on of the energy, it's just way above that. It's way above that. So we set the stage with, we set the stage with some beauty and some delight and such, but then when that magic gets added, it's just a fabulous experience.
And it is an experience, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is.
So how long are you high after a show?
Probably a couple hours, and then I crash. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I can't sleep at night. Yeah, after one. So,
I had two gigs this weekend. One was at a Player's patio, and then the second one was in Worthington area patio. And I always so wired after a show. It's at least a couple hours. I was just curious with your energy, Imber. You know, it goes a little wild, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends on the time of day too. We have a couple shows like 9 to midnight, and I'm just pretty much toast after that. But yeah,
9 to midnight. That's not a bad. That's pretty common though.
Actually, it is.
I know, but I've done a pretty good job of keeping it like reasonable. I know my demographic.
Well, so how many songs is that for you guys for your original material?
Oh, we mix.
Do you jam? Like, will you extend a tune?
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Give
Yeah.
you a little vocal, you know,
Yes, we do that on.
dance time.
What? Go ahead.
An outfit change.
Oh yeah, an outfit change. That's always kind of my thing too,
Oh wow.
especially at Natalie's. But yeah, we'll do my favorite things, which I stole from The Sound of Music because I just loved it, and we'll jam on that for a while.
Yeah, because we jazz it up. We definitely don't keep it. We started out sounding like the Broadway, and then we move away from that at some point, and it's kind of surprising. And then we just get the sax and the lead guitar and the keys and the bass and harmonica, and we all just get to jamming on it. So it definitely deviates from the Julie Andrews version, and then pull it back in by the end.
And then
wow.
we have an original called Wolf Spider that we do that on too. It's pretty, it's basic chords, right? Isn't it very? Like,
Yeah, it's fairly
bluesy
basic
or-
blues.
Yeah, blues.
Very musical.
So I actually play harmonica on both of those, which is super fun.
Good that, you know, people say, "Oh, harmonica," but you know, there's an art to that.
There is.
Yeah, I'm still
She's really
learning.
capturing it.
I'm finally getting it now. Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, thanks.
She's got another amazing talent, and that is whistling.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, that
One
you
of
know,
your songs has, or was it one or more?
more now.
Okay.
We're working it in because she developed a whistle that is very non-standard. It's very amazing, and it sounds a little old-fashioned, but it's very, very beautiful.
It's kind of part of your vintage vibe, though, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just an annoying habit. So when I was in high school, I had a job in a grocery store, and there was this little old lady that worked in cleaning, and my job was literally to walk around and help people. And I would just hear her like soaring through the store. It was just this beautiful, voluptuous, yummy whistle, just like big and full and vibrato and all that. And I was like, I want to whistle like that. And so I started practicing. So, and then, yeah, I just annoy my husband with it mostly, but, and my coworkers. But then we went down to Virginia to record this album, and Finestra was like, "That's amazing. We got to put that in your records. That's going to be your thing." And I was like, what? That's nuts. There's no way. But yeah, it's turning out to be like a thing.
We put it on one of the Christmas songs on our album also, and so we had already seen the possibility, but he just really expanded on it.
Yeah, it's going to be in Keep It Simple, which is coming out.
Oh, good. When's that one coming out?
July. Yeah,
Okay,
first week in
so
July.
it's on your
I think.
album.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for all this stuff. You got a lot going on. Yeah. So, do you have a tour planned for to support the album?
Not yet. We have a fundraiser going.
Okay.
I'm asking people, please donate, and you'll get awesome rewards because we have things like free merch, free digital downloads. I have a private Discord chat room that people that donate are the only ones allowed into. So we kind of send each other memes and behind the scenes stuff. And this is where Jerica really knows more than I do, but she's my techie girl.
She's great with guidance.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, so lots of fun stuff that they can get in different tiers, like depending on how much they give. But we're not, I was hoping I will
Yes.
fundraise 10,000 is what I'm shooting for, to help with like marketing and paying all the musicians what they are worth. And I want to do it right. So, but we're only at like 700 right now. So,
all right. So, I
Ways
mean,
to
if
go.
anyone's listening and they want to, be part of the project, where would they go to be a part of the project and contribute accordingly?
yeah, you can see any of the tiers on my website, www.imbersolis.com, and that's with an I, Imber. And you can see all the tiers listed, and you can donate there. Or my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal are all Imber Solis official.
Okay, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, trying to be organized about it.
Yeah, well, I see everything that you do out there on social media, and you're saying you enjoy creating those presences, and they're all they're pretty well organized and professional.
Thank you.
I think that the album is going to be exciting, though.
Yeah, it's definitely different than our stuff that we have out now, just because we're trying to like focus in on one. It's soul, like it's fresh soul, but it's soul. It's not neo soul, but it's soul. It's new soul. I don't know.
It's
so
deep soul.
deep soul. Yeah, baby. So
But vintage, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going for.
Yeah, you definitely have more. I know Scott's here. He co-writes, and he plays keys. But you have other instrumentation in your production. Are they regular players or are they session guys or gals?
Yeah, there are guys. My boys, I call them. So I got Jesse on drums. He's also our sound guy. He's got like all the things and knows everything. He's got his own sound company. He's such a blessing to us. Like he just dropped out of the sky. And what's weird is he used to play in a band that I used to scat with in college. So when
Small world.
when he sent me his reference video, and that was up in Akron, in Kent, he sent me this video of the band that I used to scat with, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, you played with them? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then we have John on bass, and he's from Delaware, which is my hometown. So we had that to connect on. And
He's incredible with funk.
oh, he's so fun to watch, too. He
Yes.
just gets right into it. I love it.
Yes.
Most bass players are just...
Yeah.
Yeah, energy is about everything. Right?
98%. Yeah.
He pushes me for sure, and that's a good thing.
And then Mike Folker, who is the owner of Bossy Girls Pinup Joint, co-owner. He's our guitarist. And then we have Aaron that just joined on saxophone, and he's killing it with the jazz licks.
Good deal. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a blast.
Yeah, your shows, you have a lot of video out there, so you get a good sense of, what you're all about. And
It's good to hear.
yeah, it's fun music and, your energy. And what are you thinking about when you're performing?
Wow, nobody's ever asked me that.
Or feel?
No eye contact.
Thinking about
What's
delivery.
that?
No eye contact.
No eye contact. That's one, yeah, like always above. I have ADHD, so like if I look at something shiny or something's happening,
You'll
it
stop.
can pull me right out, and I'll like forget the words. Which happens more often than I would like it to. But I'm thinking about, am I being balanced as compared to the rest of the band and what I'm doing and my energy levels and who I'm interacting with. So it's really more about that than anything else. I'm trying to be a good performer when I'm on stage.
So you're serving the experience and everything that's going on around you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting to know.
It
I
seems
think
like she's always thinking about the delivery and how it makes it to the audience. I'm reminded of a time, if you don't mind, I'm reminded of a time that we were at a gig and she actually felt a little insecure. I won't give the details of it, but she felt like, the people in front of us were awfully good and the venue was, not necessarily an easy one. And she But she went and she meditated a while and she focused a while. And when she came out, she was a whole different person. And it was like no one's going to stop her. And she delivered incredibly. I mean, she made even the band members go, wow, what just happened? So she's got an extra gear or two that she can pull out. And I think she's learned to tap into that where she uses it all the time. It's not just when she needs it. It's just part of her performance now.
Yeah, I do meditate before every show anyway. It's a quick 10-minute meditation, and it's actually a sports meditation where you are focusing on when you did something really, really good and you felt really proud of yourself and it was just a really good moment in your history of performance. And you the meditation puts you back into that moment and you can feel that pride and empowerment and the creativity that came with that. And it just puts you right there, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It does.
Sure.
It works really well.
Adds a lot of confidence. She came out as like, nothing's going to bother her. It's just going to be excellent and nothing's going to get in the way.
Because there's only one of me. I've never seen anything like us. And that's a lot of artists, that's how you should be. You should be presenting your unique craft. But I think when you start to compare is when you're going to get into trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you don't compare yourself to anyone, is what you're saying.
I try really hard not to.
And you meditate with what you just described, and that brings you in to bring it to the stage.
I also set an intention before I meditate. I set the intention when I'm interacting with the audience, they are going to leave this place feeling better. And that's my intention for the show.
Oh, wow. That's really it's spiritual.
Yeah, it is. It is spiritual for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's it's inspiring.
And it works. And I've watched it time and time again. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So there's a lot coming. You guys have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. We can stay in touch with you on the platforms. We can put some links in this particular Spotify. I think right now it's only on Spotify, but there'll be other platforms. But for this podcast description, we'll put the links in. I know you have your girl here, and we'll tap into those skills to polish some of the things that I'm directed by your manager over here.
Jerica.
I am kind of bossy.
Yeah, that's why I like her.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Jared, what do you think that, talk about me as a kid a little bit. Did you see this coming?
Well, yeah, I mean,
You've just been quiet.
I went to school with you.
Yeah.
I was there for the auditions.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you're a ham. I remember, I always wanted to write, and so, I would always be, writing plays on recess, and you would always end up with the lead. Not just because you're my best friend, but because you deserved it.
Did we have auditions?
We never actually did them. We just did the auditions for them.
I remember we made curtains for 101 Dalmatians once. We
Yes.
stole sheets and spray painted black spots on them, and then we were like, "Yeah, I'm tired. We're not going to do this."
And I collected 1 million stuffed dogs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I still have some of them.
You do. Oh gosh, that's great.
And
when you guys go on the road, though, do you travel in the same van?
usually Jesse travels on his own with all the sound stuff, and that tends to be his preference. So we'll go separate from him. But we haven't done a lot of traveling at this point. So since it's been nearby, we might look for efficiencies, but for the most part, it's not a big thing. So now when we go to Myrtle Beach, Anne will go with her family, and she'll get some family time also, so we'll travel separately.
I was going to say that amps up the crazy story
Yes.
chances, when you start traveling together.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, yeah, we did. I did have a little bit of a crazy story when the three of us drove together.
Go
Let's
for it.
go ahead and hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we were driving, and there's all the hills, and I don't really like it feels a little claustrophobic, and
Where
I
were
get a
you
little
going?
nauseous.
Where were you going?
Virginia to record.
Okay.
Yeah, with Finestro. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just have this edible nerd rope, and I'll just take a little bite, and I'll feel good. And then I accidentally ate half of it.
Accidentally.
Were you the one driving?
No. Luckily, Imber was driving.
Yeah, I get major motion sickness too, so I was like, I have to drive. Like that's the only. I drove the entire way there. So
Right.
I had a full-on panic attack, and she's like rubbing my leg, like, "You're still here. You're still here."
it's okay.
You're in a safe place. Nothing to happen.
And then like,
Let's listen to Len's podcast and put us to sleep.
Your voice is very soothing.
That's
we
funny.
were like that for like, I don't know, a good half hour.
That's true.
And then we stopped, and Scott had no idea.
That's
he
true.
thought I was totally normal, and I was like, "Oh, I'm pulling this off."
That's true. I was oblivious. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that happens. And you were driving, Ember, so you didn't nibble on this material.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't like edibles either. I can't. I've had bad experiences with those.
So, how common in your world of music is the paraphernalic type of lifestyle?
I have not come across as much as I thought I would at
really?
this point, which means I probably haven't hit it that big yet. I'm sure it's coming, but yeah, I'm very much like. I stopped drinking alcohol for a month and a half just to kind of clean my system out. I'm never gonna do hard drugs or anything like that. So
That's
pot is about as far as it's gonna get for me.
Gotcha. And it's just, it was probably an unfair question, a little bit outbound. So apologize for any invasion of privacies. But that, take it easy over there.
Yeah. Jer, on the other hand,
I
yeah,
have
Jer
not
could-
had an edible since.
Good girl, good girl.
Yeah.
All right.
I think another unique thing that Imber brings sometimes, especially with our duo, and she's doing it some with the band too, is if it's the right audience and the right setting, she'll dig back way in time. She's a historian, and she can dig back into the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. And so sometimes we put our set list into an order, and we go through and play like a history of music, including songs that we write. Sometimes we write songs to be for a certain era, and we put it in that mix. And so it has the flow of that as if they were written back then, but they're still original songs. So we just find that we have an unusual forte in that, and that you don't find with other bands, and it really hits a spot with some people. Now, for others, they could have nothing to do with it, but for some people, it really warms their hearts and is special. Now, if it's a gig where that's not really in play, then we'll go more for the rockin' and all of that. So we can chameleon to what we need to make a gig successful.
I'm a sucker for a theme. Give me a theme party, costume party, and now I can do it with my shows. So,
And what do you find inspires you to write a new song?
I have to wait for inspiration to hit. I've tried to force it before; it doesn't work.
No.
But it's usually when I'm really feeling very emotional. I'm like, I need to write now while it's hot, because otherwise I'll just talk it away and it'll fade. So yeah, I do carry my notebook with me anywhere I go. And then sometimes, like for Country Air, I was just driving down the road and it just popped into my head, like the little lick for it. And I put it in my voice memo real fast, and I sent it off to Scott, and then he wrote the rest of the song, like the music to it. So
It's a good team.
It
Yeah.
is.
You can tell.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it was so solid when she gave it to me. Even though it was only a small part of it, it was so solid that you could almost feel the rest of it, or at least I could. And so it's just been wonderful that way. It's been magical.
very natural.
That's really, really exciting to hear that.
And it's and her emotions, it's not always positive emotions, and it's not always negative emotions. It's all over the place, which really is where her name came from. Imber Solis is Latin. Imber means cloud,
Rain.
and Solis means sun. And so
Amber means rain.
rain. Sorry, rain and sun. Thank you. Why don't you take it from
close,
here?
man. It was close.
Yeah.
But
I don't mean to be accurate. I just want to talk. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So rain,
Rain
sun.
and sun. Representing the entire spectrum of human emotions. So I want to, again, going back to feeling accepted, and humanism is natural and what you're going through is normal. And so I have songs about being really pissed off, and I have songs about being in love, and I have songs about jealousy. I have, all the things. So it's just,
Yep. And it's a happy day when she sends me a voicemail, because now I've just got, drop shipped a project to work on. And it's my favorite thing to do is then to convert it into a song.
These are my
True.
favorite things.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Imber Solis, we are just about out of time here for the podcast, but you're welcome to come back.
Thank
you. And, as things progress for you, right? Like, so with, this time, we have your album coming up to look forward to, Recifest in September 16th of 2023. The first of, is it going to be a planned?
Yeah,
Annual?
I hope
This
so,
is
yeah.
the first one, right? So we'll do everything we can to get the word out. I'm a part of that as a sponsor.
Come be part of history.
Yeah, it could be. Love to. But, hopefully you guys are going to become part of music history too. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Keep rolling. And
Yes.
we'll stay in touch. But, next year or, this fall, if you guys want to, if you feel that you want to come back and talk more about some things you got going on, I mean, I'd love to have you guys back again,
Thank you.
We'd
Or
love that.
if we want to do a show on Scott Lee,
Hey.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting?
then we'll bring Imber Solis.
Yeah, she could be my sidekick
There you go. You've got more
If she-
history than I do. So.
if she's available.
If I'm free. Can I touch on one more thing before we go? I know we're like out of time, but
Yeah, we got, no.
today is Juneteenth.
Yes.
Yes. So happy Juneteenth.
Yes.
And to you.
And I started working in graphic design for a nonprofit called Community Arts Network in Delaware. And their focus is providing scholarships for Black students going into the performing arts. So I was like, 100% I can get behind that. So I'm working with them to build the website, do all the graphic design, logos, things like that. But they kept asking me, I've been performing at these fundraisers, and they're like, talk about what Black music means to you. And I'm always completely flabbergasted by that. I just have had a really hard time answering that, which has bothered me. I'm like, why is this so hard to answer? I know it's important to me. So I think it finally kind of hit me today as I was driving home from work, that asking me why Black music is important to me is kind of like asking why air is important to humans. Black music is everything that I love about music. It's the jazz, the soul, the rhythm, the blues, the heartbeat of music. We can't separate at this point music without including Black music into it. And the other second kind of half of that for me is that growing up as such a perfectionist and always under such a microscope of what I'm doing with myself and the eating disorder and all that, my whole life has felt very restricted for my own doing and society. But with Black music, there is a freedom within it that I think could have only come from them because they were so repressed. And that was their outlet to make beautiful things happening. So it has carried on through centuries. And I think that it's everywhere. We can't, like I said, we can't not have music without it. And it's the freedom of it. When I learned to scat, I had to get out of my head and learn how to freeform. And I had to, this whole soul journey has taught me how to be confident with my scales and my notes. And so
Throwing your notes.
yeah, throwing the notes in the air, right?
Bless you for saying that. I mean, it's well stated. And I feel that. and I'll have a story for you when we go here. This is going to cut us off.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And I don't want to cut you off because I think what you said was genuinely felt. And,
Thank you for having
so
us.
everyone, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Imber Solis, there's more to come with you, I'm
Lots
sure.
more, yeah.
Absolutely. And keep rolling. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, everyone. That's a wrap for season 9 of Columbus Local Podcast. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye. You never whistle.